Holly. Well, today we're going to be talking about how we can prevent pollution by many little common things that we're doing. We don't realize that we're actually doing harm to the water that we drink, that we cook with, and that we swim in. Joining us this morning is Gail Prenti, who's the education specialist at Geauga Soil and Water Conservation District, along with Joe Wrights, who's the engineering manager at the city of Avon Lake. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
One of the things, a very common thing on how we pollute is storm water. So exactly, let's talk about storm sewers and storm water and how that actually affects what we're drinking.
All right. Well, when rain falls and the snow melts, it hits our rooftops and flows over roads, driveways, lawns, eventually draining into the storm drains and ditches, and then it makes its way to our local streams and creeks. So that water, as it's traveling, it's not traveling alone. It's picking up things from the land. Antifreeze, oil from the driveways and roads. It picks up fertilizers from lawns, picks up sediment from construction sites, and it enters those storm drains and it is not treated. So it's going from the land directly into our waterways. So it's critical that folks make that connection, that the water entering storm drains is not cleaned and going into the lake, that, as you said, we use that as a public drinking water source.
Yeah, it's a scary thought because what you just mentioned, it's everywhere. So it's pretty inevitable, for the most part, that that water is going to be running through things. And we've actually, you brought a little fun alligator here to help demonstrate. That's why we're wearing the pin.
Yes.
Okay, why the alligator? What's the significance?
The alligator is a program that was initiated I initiated in Avon Lake in 2008. And basically Al, in his little t-shirt there says Al, A-L on it. So, and the t-shirt also has a logo on there that says nothing but rain down my drain, because Al represents all the creatures that live in the waterways and therefore are much more susceptible to the pollutants that may drain down there.
Let's just go, you have 5 examples that we're going to demonstrate with. And the first one is motor oil. You know, a lot of cars out there, whether they're brand new or not, we could be leaking motor oil not only on the streets but in, as she had mentioned, in our driveways.
Right. The sheen that people see when they're out there walking the creeks, you know, we all enjoy the metro parks. We've got in the Cleveland area have some awesome metro parks, but you're out there walking the creek and you see that sheen on the water. A gallon of motor oil can pollute 2,500 gallons of water. So when you look at the relationship to a small amount, somebody changing their oil and dumping it down there. I mean, past practice, people used to dump their motor oil on their driveways to keep the dust down.
And there's paint out there. I mean, and one thing that really scares me is car wash soap. When the weather hits nice, like it is today, there's a lot of people in Northeast Ohio that like to wash their cars outside, but we're actually doing damage.
Sure. Well, if you're going to a commercial car wash, that water that's running off the cars as it's being washed, going down a drain, and it's going to the sanitary sewer. So it's going to the sewage plant, it's being treated, therefore that's not an issue. But washing it in your driveway, you know, where that soapy water goes, particularly the big harm in the car wash soap is the phosphorus. This time of year, getting into August, you've got the algae blooms that you hear about in Lake Erie. Algae, the phosphorus feeds the algae, therefore you get the algae bloom because we have lower rainfall. You know, Holly's done this enough to know, you know, last year's rain versus this year.
And the last 2 is pool water and leaves and grass clippings. So it seems like there's so many common things out there that we all use. It's a very scary thought. So really what you need to do is educate people. And what they can do is just go on to your website. Are you going to dump everything while I read the website?
I'm
you dump it while I read the website.
Into the storm drain. Here it goes.
Oh, Al. OhioDNR.com/soil and water for all the information on what we do every day that can cause harm. That is just not a pretty sight. We will be right back with more live on Lakeside. Sorry, Al, I'm not doing it, buddy.
This segment of Live on Lakeside was sponsored by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources.